Planet Runners, thank you for tuning in for another review, and I'll be talking about 4 different shoes, but really I'm focusing on one in particular. But before we get to that, first, please like and subscribe if you have not. It really helps me out. I know you guys are watching, and it means a lot to me. But seeing you guys watching, though, still I really appreciate it. And comments, whether you're correcting me on something, saying it look fantastic. You don't have to do that. Saying it look ugly. You know what? A comment's a comment. So I appreciate it. Any type of interaction, because that's why I'm doing this. I want the interaction. I want other people to talk to about running. And so this is a good way to reach out and kind of see like-minded people or people who are not like-minded, who will disagree with me. And I think this video is going to get a lot of disagreements from several people. All right, so first, let's introduce the shoe. First of all, in order of release date, we have the ASICS Mega Blast. And if you don't know that shoe is really, really good for a lot of different things. It is a shoe that you can do your long runs in, you can do your daily run, you can definitely do your speed, and you can definitely do your races in them. In fact, I personally believe that is the most popular non-carbon plated race shoe that's out there, and probably the best for that. Following that is the Dynavish Jiaonan. That is the Chinese shoe. That is a Chinese shoe that probably does not need too much of an introduction if you're watching this video because of how popular it is. But still, we'll go over that. Then we have the blowout shoe of the year, bringing this brand from like absolute zero to the top, and that's the Topo Spectre 3, because they've been killing it with that shoe, and they went on to make the Topo Spectre Elite. I haven't been able to get my hands on them, but those two shoes have really put Topo on the map and turned a lot of heads. And the last one to come out is the SC Rebel V1. That is New Balance, one of New Balance's new shoes that is their definitely a super trainer, and I would argue to say probably the best shoe they have ever made. All right, so let's first go over each shoe individually, and then we're going to go into the stats. So first off is the ASICS Mega Blast. For that shoe, it comes in at 8.3 ounces, 233 grams in a men's size 10. So that is probably the heaviest of the ones we're talking about. It has a 45 millimeters in the heel and 37 millimeters in the forefoot for an 8 millimeter drop. The big drawback to the shoe, in my opinion, is the upper. It's an engineered woven mesh upper. It's very plasticky feeling. It doesn't have like a lot of comfort to it. A lot of people do not get along with the upper. They hit around there, so that's not the best. What really makes this shoe stand out, though, is the Flight Foam Turbo Squared midsole, and that is like their FF Squared. If you run in the new Nova Blast 6, that's what they put in the pocket, but this is a full slab of that foam, and it is good. You really need to put some effort into it to get the best out of it. However, you can go at slower paces, but if as far as I'm concerned, whatever you put into it is what you get out of it. It's going to give you a lot of pace, and that upper does help. It's so light. It has the sawtooth laces, so it's really geared like this is a shoe you are meant to run fast and race in. So that is possibly, like I said, one of the best super trainers to come out. And I will say, with the ASICS grip on the bottom and all that foam, that is definitely your most durable of these. It's going to last you a super long time. I put in like 150, 200 miles of mine, and I feel like I just took it out of the box. All right, next one is the Dynavish Jiaonan. So it came out, I believe, in 2025. However, it's reached insane popularity in 2026, and it's becoming a lot easier to get in the American market. But that does come with a problem. When the shoe first came out, you can get it around like $100, even cheaper than $100. Now it's typically going to find it for about $150, which is, kind of stinks, but it's still a great price for the shoe you're getting. The Mega Blast and the Jiaonan are the most similar, in my opinion, of all of these shoes. All right, so the Dynavish is going to be the lightest one at 7.1 ounces, 202 grams for a men's size 10. You have 41 millimeters in the heel and 34 millimeters in the forefoot, giving you a 7 millimeter drop. It has a TPE foam, and it's got a mesh upper. Now it does kind of, it's a better upper than the Mega Blast for sure. The laces are not great. You're definitely getting better laces on the Mega Blast. Price wise as well, you're saving a lot of money going with the Xiaonan over the Mega Blast. The Mega Blast comes in at $220, where the Dynafish comes in at $150. Some maybe you might be able to find it cheaper on AliExpress or something like that. So fish around, get it. Xiaonan means like little catfish. I said fish around for a better place. Woo! Tough crowd. All right, but they both have a very similar feel, where it feels best when you're putting a lot of effort down onto them and you get that instant response. But I'll get into my favorites of those in a minute. Next is the Topo Spectra 3, and as I said, that's possibly going to be voted the best shoe of the year. It is fantastic. What really stands out about it is its upper and its fit. It is an anatomical shoe, meaning that it kind of like goes with your foot. There's plenty of room at the front for your feet to spread out. It also has a very steep rocker, so you're really going to be going aggressive on it. It weighs 7.4 ounces, 220 grams, and a men's size 10. Now, this is one of the lower drop ones. If that's a problem for you, be aware. If it's not a problem for you, then it makes it a lot better, in my opinion. It gives you 39 millimeters in the heel, 34 millimeters in the forefoot for that 5 millimeter drop. It's an engineered mesh material. Of the three I've talked about so far, it is my favorite upper, definitely. It has an ATPU Rev foam, which is fantastic. Like it's such a smooth shoe, and it's fast. But also you can do it for use it for daily. There's so many uses for that shoe. Now this one comes in $170, so this comes in between the Mega Blast and the Dynafish. Again, I gotta say, this is a really good price for this shoe. If this one was a Nike, it would probably be upward of $200+. All right, so that's Topo Spectra 3, and last but not least is the New Balance SC Rebel V1. Now, if you don't know about this shoe, this is kind of their new super trainer, and it's actually taking the place of their old SC trainer. Despite it having the Rebel name, I believe the Rebel line is going to continue, so no fear there if you're a fan of the Rebel. But this shoe has come out with a lot of controversy, mostly because of the fit. It's a very narrow fit at the forefoot, and it's very like low volume. It's definitely a race day fit. However, that being said, this is the only one of these shoes that has a plate inside. Now, it's not a full carbon plate; it's a carbon infused plate, but it really does a great job. It is super fast, and like I would race in this one hands down. All right. So again, you have that's for $200. So you're covering a lot of price ranges. So let's compare each one and try to figure out which ones are best. If you want to save money, if you want to get the cheapest shoe, you are going to go with the Dynafish Xiaonan. The Dynafish. That's coming in at most $150. Do not spend more than $150 for that shoe, otherwise you're getting scammed. All right, next up in price is going to be the Topo Spectra 3 at $170. Not a massive price increase, but it's going to be more expensive, but it's such a unique feeling shoe. In fact, this one's the most different from all of them, the way it's set up, the rocker and the geometry of it, and the midsole, that especially if you're a wider foot person, it would be worth the price. And then you have the SC Rebel at $200, and then you're going all the way up to $220 for the ASICS Mega Blast. So if you're looking for price range, that is going to be what you're looking at. All right, if you're looking at comfort, if you're looking for the most comfortable of these shoes, then I'm going to say, I personally think the Topo Spectra 3. Now, if you're a narrow foot person, you might disagree with that. But like for me, just the material of it, I think it's a very clean looking shoe. So I definitely prefer the Topo Spectra 3 comfort-wise. I am like a wider foot, not wide, but wider, so that fit is very good for me. Following that, I would go with the SC Rebel. The SC Rebel uses their Phantom fit that's very similar to what you see on the SC Elite, and it's light. It's kind of soft materials, and that Phantom fit really holds everything in place really good, really well. Ugh, English words. Then I would go the Dynafish and the A6 Mega Blast in the bottom for comfort wise, at least around the upper. Which one's going to be the fastest, you ask? Of course, that's always important with these super trainers, and which one's going to be the fastest is going to be based on you as a runner, honestly. I mean, that's how these shoes work. You put in what you get. So I'm going to talk about, in my circumstances, my feel, and the shoe that makes me the fastest, I believe, is the SC Rebel. I really like that feel. I can get like great turnover, and I have like protection. I have that extra push. I really like that feel, and I feel like I can just keep up my pace in that shoe better than the other ones. Then I would probably say between the Xiaonan or the Mega Blast. Probably the Mega Blast is like a little bit firmer, so I guess you can kind of get more bounce from that, more response, but not by too much. That's why I do find the Dynafish more comfortable. It's not as firm as the Mega Blast. The Mega Blast is a little bit too firm for me. And then probably the Topo Spectra 3. This is not a slow shoe. I'm just using the comparison chart. So it's still a very quick shoe. You really can get a lot of turnover on it, but it is probably the softest of them. So you kind of get that extra sink in and then the response. But again, that geometry really gets you moving fast. Right? So if these are shoes that are going to be doing everything for you, the next question is, what shoe is the best for a long, easy run? Because these are training shoes mostly. And I would say personally the SC Rebel, because it just like you can sit back on it, and a lot of that for me, because I'm a 4-foot runner, so I really get that push. But then at the same time, it's a soft ATPU foam. That Infineon is really nice, really soft, and so it feels okay when I take off the pace. The next one would be probably the Topo Spectra 3. But again, that one is harder to slow down because of that geometry. It's really aggressive, that you can definitely go slower in it. But I wouldn't never call it I wouldn't call any of these a recovery shoe, but still, it's something to think about. All right, and then I would say probably the Xiaonan, because I find it a little bit softer than the Mega Blast, and the worst longer, like slower shoe is going to be the Mega Blast. Again, these are all my opinions. I can't emphasize it enough, because someone will try these shoes and feel completely different about them. All right, so we looked over that. What about stability? Which ones are the most stable? And that is a tougher question to answer, honestly, because they all have their own like ways to do it. So the most stable, in my opinion, again, I think is going to be either the SC Rebel or the Dynafish. They are like the wider ones, and the SC Rebel uses their plate. It's such a unique design where the SC Rebel is set to really, like, the plate is very, very close to the ground, like 1 millimeter from the ground, and that really balances, shapes the shoe well. How durable that makes it is a question that's still being wondered, because it's still a relatively new release, but it's something to think about. And then the Dynafish is pretty good for wider feet. Now, you would think that the next most stable would be the Topo Spectra 3 because of the wide platform for it, and it is stable, but it can be a little squirrely with that foam, especially like depending where you land. So it can feel a little bit unstable. Not bad at all, but just in comparisons with the other ones. And then the Mega Blast is probably right before the Topo Spectra 3, so that's coming in third place. So that's where you got for stability. So all these shoes fit a lot of different reasons, and which one is best for me? And in order to explain to you why I love this shoe, and it's the shoe of the year for me. I need to talk to you about how I met my wife. Yes, that doesn't make sense, but bear with me. Now, I was in college at the time, and I was living with two roommates. Um, one one was a guy, and another one was a girl. And at one point, the girl roommate, she had like a really good friend who was having some boyfriend trouble, and she told us about that. I was like, okay. What I did not know is that she was going to let that girl come over and stay at our apartment for like a little while. I don't even remember if it was a week or 2 weeks or something like that. I didn't know that. So one time, I come back from class, I walk into my apartment, and I see this random girl sitting and playing my Xbox, and I was like, "Hi, who? Hi." Um, and she kind of like glanced at me, was like, "Hey," and kind of went back to the game. And I was like, okay. And I kept walking. So you always hear about love at first sight, like these beautiful stories. I'm gonna tell you, it was like I did not like her instantly. She has what I call refer to as RBF, and she will tell you that herself, so she won't get mad at me. What that is resting face. So typically, when her relaxed face, it looks like she is upset. I'm sure some of you have encountered this, or you might have it yourself. It's not the worst thing in the world, but it's a really good way to get people to leave you alone. So several days went by, and I kind of avoided her. I would just walk to my room when she was in the living room, and we didn't really talk much. And then one time she says she didn't break it, but she was playing my Xbox, and I got the ring of the death. If you're old enough to know what that is, it's like when the whole game shuts down, and she ruined my save game that I was doing with my best friend in Resident Evil, and I lost all my progress. So I was not happy. I was not happy with it, and I kind of blamed her because she was playing it. But that's different things. All right. So when I met her, I did not like her, and we did not get along. And then my guy roommate one time said, she thinks you're cute, and I was like, she hates me. And she was very pretty. She was absolutely like way prettier than I deserve. You ever watch like The Big Bang Theory or those like sitcoms where it's like the pudgy or like the really nerdy guy and the really hot girl, and you're like, in real life that wouldn't happen. That was the situation. So one day, we went to a party. We all went there, and I remember that I was sitting there, and someone had a Nintendo 64 Mario Kart hookup, and that was awesome. Yes, I'm that much of a nerd, but it was awesome. It was so much fun, and so there was this one guy who was really flirting heavily with my bride to be, and he went upstairs, and I kid you not, I didn't think this was a real thing. I always thought this was in movies, but he comes down with a guitar. He sits on like the arm of the couch he was sitting, and he starts to serenade her. And I was just like, what? And I can tell she had the same expression. She was like, I want to get out of here. Please, someone save me. So I went over to her, and I was like, hey, it's your turn to play Mario Kart with me. Now, we were not in line to do it, but she was like, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. She came over. And so for the rest of the party, we hung out. And the guy with the guitar, like, kind of like walked around trying to get around her more. But it was pretty clear that I was with her. And then since that day, we were like inseparable. We were like, became best friends. And then we like eventually started dating. Um, but, like, it always felt like we were not meant to be. But it worked out. The point of this story is that my favorite shoe is a shoe that was never meant to be, and that shoe is the SC Rebel V1. Why do I say this is not meant to be? Is this shoe is narrow. It is narrow. It's a low toe box. Some of my favorite reviewers are talking about how this shoe did not work for them. Some of them are like Machines of Mayhem. Full respect, man. I absolutely love your videos. I think you're a great guy. Nothing but love. But I definitely disagree with you on the hate for this shoe. And then Meredith from Supwell, she could not stand it. And other people were talking about the fit, and it was not good. It was not good. But then there was other people who absolutely loved it. It was like the best feeling shoe ever. And something about the shoe told me that it it was good for me. It was going to fit me, and I wanted to get that shoe. But again, I know my foot. My foot's not going to fit in that. Good old New Balance. And what New Balance does better than anyone else is they make wide cutting shoes. Now, I would never tried a wide before. I've never been absolutely wide, but I thought, you know what? The worst that happens, I try it out and it doesn't fit and I return it. So I ordered this in a wide and in my size 11, and the fit is absolutely perfect on my foot. It's so good, and I love it. What do I love about it? First of all, the upper. You can't really tell in this color as much, but you can kind of see like the tracing there. It's a very light upper, but that kind of like reinforces it. You have a nice heel counter there that keeps your heel in place. You have nice padding all around. The tongue is relatively padded very well. So despite all that padding in this shoe, it is very light. As I said, it comes in at about 7.7 ounces in a size 10. Next, the tongue is fully gusseted, which I really prefer that. I really like that. The tongue sits very well. It holds your foot so securely. The laces aren't anything special. They work. All right, they're definitely better than like the Dynafish or Topo laces. So definitely prefer them over that. Now, as I said, the geometry of the shoe is kind of like a late stage rocker, but you can really get moving on it. But the magic is right in here. So this is their Infineon foam. They use this foam in 3 different shoes, in their SC Elite, which is their like more airy foam, and then in their 1080, which is their trainer foam. Now that one's a lot denser and like softer. You don't get the same rebound. I don't think it's even ATPU based. I'm not sure, but it definitely does not feel like this. Now, if you are a full 4-foot runner, beware. Like you see, there is not that much foam there. It's even worse in the SC Elite. But I'm able to, when I'm going, to hit about right here. That's where we're at my sweet spot. And that is right where the foam wants to get me going. So it's really nice. And if I'm kind of slowing up, then I can kind of hit a little bit more. I can still kind of land about there, and I still get that plenty of foam protection. It's soft, it's quick, it's stable. Now, the interesting way that they designed this shoe is that I'm trying to see. You can kind of see like the plate is right here, and it goes like there is the plate of this shoe. So it's right at the bottom. The only thing keeping it away is the um, is the grip. So it you don't feel that aggressive uh, carbon plate feel. Now I do worry, and a lot of people do, about like how this durability is going to be after you keep hitting it in the plate over and over again. But right now it feels so good, absolutely incredible, and this is my one and only shoe I love right now. I would definitely run a marathon in this shoe. I would use this for training. I would use this for a half marathon. I could even use this for a 5K or 10K and feel like I'm not losing too much speed. I can do anything in this shoe. In fact, I love it so much that this is a shoe I would definitely consider um, buying like 2 of, just to use at different times. Um, but I'm also waiting. Like, come on, New Balance, you have so much potential with this. Let's make some banging colors. I know you can do it. You got it in you. You can do it. Give me more colors, and I'll buy another one. I promise. Um, so I love the feel of it. It's super comfortable. Me going the wide made it absolutely perfect for me. I cannot imagine a normal one, and then it would not be for me. Yeah, I would be missing out on this wonderful shoe. Um, so why do I think this shoe is the best super trainer you can get? Why is this better than the Topo, the Dynafish, and of course the Mega Blast? So let's look at this shoe, comparing down to each one. Comparing it first to the Mega Blast. One, I think the Mega Blast is too firm. I really, really do. You can really get that foam going, but I think you get more response with the plate in it. I think it's softer feel overall, and I think the upper is a lot better. Therefore, this wins hands down for me, and I think I can get a little bit faster in this one. Next is the Dynavish Xiaonan. Now, that is a super popular shoe, and I would understand that. I see everything why that people love that shoe, and it is a really good. It's a much better upper than the Mega Blast. I think the foam is better than the Mega Blast. So I definitely think the Dynavish is better than the Mega Blast, but it's still not up to here for me. Now, and it's cheaper, it is lighter. So if those two things are important for you, then yes, go the Dynafish. But I feel like this is a softer foam that gives me more response. Whereas again, in the Dynafish, it feels too firm for me. It's not firm. It doesn't feel comfortable. All right, I can't go an easy pace and a hard pace. I would never run a marathon in the Dynafish. I would not be comfortable, but I can do that in this shoe, and I can take this shoe onto the track, and I'd probably still be more comfortable than I would be in the Dynafish. So that makes it better. And then, of course, the Topo Spectre 3. This doesn't make sense, but bear with me right now. My foot is wider, since I had to go for a wider cut shoe. That being said, the Topo Spectre should be my favorite because of the wide cut, but honestly, it is so wide that I feel like my foot is swimming in it, and I can feel it like kind of moving side to side when I am running, and that does not help with the stability, whereas this has better stability. It's more directional. The foam is more responsive than the Spectre 3, so that really helps me pick up more pace into it. And again, I've done long runs in the Spectre 3, and my foot kind of finished kind of hurting a little bit. This one, no pain. And yeah, I just love this shoe. This is my shoe of the year. I don't see anything coming out anytime soon to be better than this. Because when I look for a shoe of the year, I look for a shoe that I can use in a lot of different purposes, and this shoe can really do so many things, and not just okay, but they can do them really, really well. So good on you, New Balance. You made an absolute banger, and you made one of my favorite shoes of the year, and in my opinion, the best super trainer you can get on the market right now. Again, don't forget that this is my opinions. I'm sure many people disagree with me. Probably the Topo Spectre 3 is going to be voted as the best shoe of the year. I would not be surprised about that at all. But the key thing is remember that there are so many great shoes that you're going to find a shoe for you. Whatever it is, just know that there is a good shoe out there for everyone, just like there's always a love of your life out there for everyone. Because I am a romantic at heart. So be bold, be fast, be you, and find true love. Awkward.